I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored!
They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, what is up, fam? We are back for another Executive Spotlight. Got another special one here for you on this Tuesday night. Going to be joined to this gentleman to my right here, Mr. Mike Vazquez. He's one of the presidents and owner of BYB Extreme. First and foremost, Mike, appreciate your time this afternoon. Definitely looking forward to catching up with you and picking your brain here a little bit.
On the contrary, brother. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your support of BYB.
Oh, of course, man. Of course, man. Like, listen, dude, I've always said it, like, it doesn't matter how small the promotion, how big, how small the fighter. Like, listen, you everyone has a story to tell. I enjoy giving everyone a kind of a platform to be able to kind of do that. But real quick, before we get into it, obviously this show is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Make sure you're checking out Dr. Paul Vidal and the guys over there. Make sure you're heading over to specializedphysicaltherapy.com. They got two locations at Cherry Hill and Burlington. But with that being said, want to quick get into this. Now I know not a lot of people really know what BYB Extreme is. Kind of real quick, give the fam kind of a little bit of a background on how'd you guys come up with this, and how did the BYB come to fruition?
Well, BYB, our fights, we call them our brawls. They happen in the Trigon cage, which we patented. It's a triangle ring and cage. BYB is short because it's where we came from. It's short for the backyard brawls, which is what started here in South Florida in Perrine, or as Dada says, Pirine, at the greenhouse back since the early 2000s. And it's basically our roots, right? It's where it all got started down here in South Florida. It's what made Kimbo Slice big internationally. It's where Dada cut his teeth as a fighter and more so as a promoter, putting down these events down in Perrine for many years, fully in the spotlight. I mean, literally the police, everybody knew about it. And because it was well coordinated and it brought the community together, it wasn't necessarily frowned upon for many years until they just got a little too big. There were several hundred people in the backyard, and fights kept getting bigger. And so at some point, the state came in and wanted to shut the whole process down. And that's where I came in, because I actually met Dada through Jose Suris, who's my partner, and he worked with Team Pitbull, the singer, for many years. Pitbull, I knew him from my NASCAR days, and well, even before that. But he knew I started the NASCAR Mexico series for NASCAR and did a lot of that diversity programming for them since 2000. So he saw how we put a series together out of nothing in Mexico. It was called NASCAR Mexico, and it became the #1 series in Latin America. So he asked me, he said, this is kind of rough, but could you do something like this? Take this to be legit, a sanctioned a series. So, I went and I met Dada first. When you're doing business with somebody, you got to see if you're compatible to see, and I saw the videos. I'm like, wow, this is fucking nuts. I love it, but nuts. I don't know that his personality. If you see the movie Dogfight, that's all I had from him and some of the videos. So, but once I met him in person, I'm like, wow, this guy's straight shooter, good guy, well thought out what he's trying to do, what he's trying to accomplish, and just an all around good guy. So we got together, and in our first meeting, we actually drew up our ring, drew up our logo, we spent 2 or 3 hours sitting at Monty's bar here in Coconut Grove, and we put it all together. And literally it started that fast, and we got everything properly trademarked and designed our patent with a professional engineer, our rings, got those patented, and had our first event in just not too many weeks after we met, which was our Battleship 1 event that you can see on our BYBExtreme.com page or our YouTube channel.
And now that's another thing I want to ask you. Obviously, you guys are, haven't really kind of blown up really big, and you guys are just doing YouTube. Have you guys gotten to the part where you're getting ready to start to talk to like TV partners, to talk to app partners, etc., to start kind of branching out along them lines as well?
Yeah, it's a different thing. Like you said, we're building a building, but from the foundation, right? We're not trying to put the topper on the building first. So it's all been, we're not necessarily having as many events as other people or stuff like that, but we are putting stuff together. I think we have a first class, I think best in the business production team, our ringside announcers, Mike Goldberg, Goldie, and Paulie Malignaggi. We have Dave and Al Bernstein's coming back and joining us for this next event.
There you go.
From and the zone. The top in the business. I think our matchmaker, Mel Valenzuela is doing a great job getting us well-matched fights. All the fights, it's like pick, they can go either way. So we're putting great fights together in a ring, which promotes confrontation. It's very exciting, and we have great commentary to boot. So the number of events, well, that'll come in time. Right now, I'm the owner of the company, and putting all my resources that I can into it. We haven't taken on investor groups, whether public or private or stuff like that. We have some people that have been shown interest in investing in us, so we can do more events, so we can grow faster than what my pocketbook will allow, right? So
exactly, we can only go so far, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to do things the right way, and like I said, we're building. It's not about the number of events; it's about the quality of events. It's about the reputation that you get in the business with the fighters, with the production companies and whatnot. And I think we have a solid reputation with everybody who we've ever done business with, right? We don't write a check if the money's not in the bank, and we don't make promises we can't keep. So we've been working in that direction. We've been this is I think we're going to have a fifth event this year already. So I mean, we started in 2019. We did one event. In 2020, we had scheduled 4 events, but we had a great event at the Hard Rock. Then COVID hit, so it interrupted the whole year. So we ended up doing an event in December. So we only did 2 events. This year, it's 5 or 6 events that we're doing. So we're ramping up. We hope to do another 20 events over the next. What is it? No, I'm sorry. It was 16 events over the next 2 years.
There you go. You get eight a year ain't paid, right?
Yeah. I mean, but what we're doing is also we have done some television, right? Like you say, right now we're on YouTube, and why are we on YouTube? On the pay-per-view side, I don't care what what you hear about the numbers and whatnot. The pay-per-view numbers for promotions. Unless it's a big UFC card or the Mayweather card or something, even that TikTok fight that happened in Miami, that company went out of business, went bankrupt, didn't end up paying anybody. They were hoping to get several 100,000 views. They got 20% of what they were hoping to get. So in a company that you're just trying to get your product out there, right? You want people to see what your ring is about, what the action is about. If you put a price tag on it, you're only going to limit the number of eyeballs that are going to see that product, right? So what we're trying to do is something that I wanted to do from the very beginning. I got talked out of it. Everybody, all the pay-per-view companies. Oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and our audience is this, and they'll talk you into doing the pay-per-view, and we did, and the numbers were good, and they increased over time, but they weren't great. And when you look at the revenue you're going to get from there compared to the limited eyeballs that you're or the eyeballs you're going to limit yourself to, why rather not take the money and just open the product up to get as many people viewed as possible?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like when you guys get to a point when you develop a few stars and kind of get you can kind of run that back and go back that way, or even kind of situate it into a spot where you do spot situations where you might have it where it's a big enough event where you say, let's throw this one on paper. But yeah, but it's still like you said, you guys are still growing. You're still trying to grow not just your brand, but the fan base and the fighters that you guys have under contract.
Correct. And we did do, for example, we've done some experiments over the last year or so. And again, I go back to my NASCAR days. I had a television program on Speed Channel a reality show that followed the race team around and whatnot and stuff like that. And when we were doing this, the boxing is a little different. You have live events. There's no set time, right? It could be a 2.5-hour show if everybody gets knocked out in the first round, which has happened, almost. We've had some fights that we're like, wow, first round. I'm looking at it, we're like 8 fights in. It's only, not even 2 hours. And then there's some fights. Last card went 4 hours and 45 minutes. We had the Patricia Juarez Christine Stanley fight, which was outstanding. Instant classic, 7 rounds, bare knuckle fighting. We had Aaron Hill and Josette Cotton go 5 rounds, as well. And I think Jomi also went 5. So we had 3 fights go the distance, which never happens to us, but that night it did. So, but what we've done in to try to bring the program out there, we did a TV show on, I don't know if you're familiar with the network. It's a limited network, but it's called BN Sports. They do a lot of soccer. They do some boxing and whatnot. It's on some cable companies and it's on some satellite companies. I think it's on Dish, but not direct. So we did a little kind of like a little pilot 8-episode season. And what we did was we chopped up our fights into 1-hour episodes, right? And it aired on BN Sports last year from December of 2020, first week of December through the last week of January. Because it was new to television and because it was bare knuckle, there's a little concern about the audience, the graphics, even though we believe it's safer than boxing, but the blood aspect.
The gore factor always scares people.
Right. So they put us at midnight, right? Which, all right, people are still up. It's midnight East Coast. It's still 9 p.m., on the West Coast. So let's see what the numbers look like. Well, week over week, our audience grew. By week 4, by week 5, we were the number 1 show Saturday nights on BN Sports. And we were at midnight. We were following Major League Wrestling and some karate other championship show. I forgot the name for the life of me, but we became number 1 at midnight. So they moved us from midnight to 11. They moved that other show to, and we stayed number 1 until the end of our show ran. So it showed us that the audience that we got that first week came back and they brought some friends. There was some word of mouth. And we became the number 1 show on their network. So that shows us that we have something special. We are working with some networks, in this day and age. The pay-per-view model can be great, but I don't like to live off the pay-per-view model.
Like I said, it's like when you're in the situation you're in, I think it would make more sense doing what you're doing and just, like I said, just kind of picking like 1 or 2 events a year that you kind of want to put on that platform. Like, why limit yourself? You know what I mean?
Correct. Our goal, however, is, and we are working with some networks that have shown interest, that are starting to not look the other way at bare knuckle. And that are interested in our platform and the excitement factor. Because at the end of the day, we're entertainment, right? You got to be entertainment. We're combat sports, and we're pure in that regard. That we are, no A side, no B side, no fluffing somebody's record, no protecting, this or that. So we are true combat sports, not a promotion in that aspect.
I love that you said that too. I love that you said that too, Mike.
but at the same time, we are entertainment, right? So we have to give that good commentary. We have to give these good stories, features. We got interesting characters on our on the card. Guys like Isaiah Quinones, White Boy, Jomi, all these guys. That's interesting right there. We brought all kinds of guys over. Matt Delanoy, who just retired with a stellar record, MMA and all kinds of stuff. Nobody wants to fight Matt Delanoy. Sergio Melo from Brazil, 30-8, interesting. Boxers, all that. And in our championship fight ends up 2 guys that started in the backyard, right? They started where we started from, but they fought other backyard guys and they fought professional boxers, kickboxers, fighters, and they've gotten to where they're going to meet for the championship. So that's a great story for us to have 2 guys that started with us actually getting that opportunity. And another one was our first belt ever was awarded to a woman. I don't think too many combat sports, if any, have ever had their first ever belt go in the women's division, to a tough, competitor in Patty Juarez, who did what I thought was impossible, which is take down Christine Stanley, even though it was, I think it was a 1-point decision and the fight could have gone either way. I think she did outperform early on in the fight enough, and Christine just had the heart. I mean, if you see that fight, it gives me the chills.
Yeah.
Come on and charge them up.
That's it, brother. And Christine Stanley is just one of those ones that just bites down on it and goes. So, yeah, definitely was one. We had Christine on leading toward it. And, as you're talking about outperform, I wanted to get your thoughts on my poll question, man. Was looking up, seeing what's going on for your event, and then you got a little competition that night. And I want to get your thoughts here. And I actually think you guys will do it. Will BYB Extreme 7 outperform Triller De La Hoya Belfort? I absolutely agree. I think it is a sad situation that we're looking in parts of combat sports where we're just literally holding on to things like this.
Well, I mean, listen, the way I see it, it's all about the money, right? I mean, that's what it's all about for those guys who are coming back. And then I see some of these stuff, which is, it's funny. Even with this fight that just happened this weekend, this guy's mom. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 other fighters are injecting themselves in the story. And for what means? Well, to try to maybe get that next fight against Lowe. It's all. It's sad. And to me, it's sad. I'd rather just see things set up normally, but it's a big business. It's money. And that's what happens. Now, who's going to do what? I mean, we're putting our show out there for free. We hope, we had about 200,000 people see our last show. We're hoping that those numbers also will grow over the day or so after our show. And we're hoping people just come out and see our show. Right. And then if they want to see that fight, they probably see it for free. As soon as our show's over and that show's over, they can play it. They don't have to see the results and end up seeing 2 fights for free. So
exactly. Just wait for the clip to come up on social media. What's the point?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I won't say I'm not tight with my money. I mean, you obviously you'll never get to have a lot of money if you don't hold some of that money back. But I'll spend my money here and there. We're on entertainment, food and entertainment more definitely than clothes. Clothes, I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy, and sneakers. But I hate myself when I spend money on a fight like that and I end up with a bad fight or a bad decision.
Oh man,
or a bad. Like I'm stupid.
Like I remember when before the UFC became where it is today. Like I just remember some not the earlier ones. I would say anywhere between before they hit 100 and then before they hit 200. There was events that you would just go in there and just why did I just blow away $60 on this event when I just knew what was coming? But it's one of these things we always get intrigued with with the talk of the fight and the matchups and the what ifs and things like that. But at the end of the day, you have to be a little bit more than entertainment, right?
Yeah, like I said, Mayweather's taking so much money from me, just me trying to see blue.
I'm with you there too.
The one time I thought somebody finally got him, the decision went the other way. I'm like, what? Man. So, that's why we try to get the judges out of the way, let the fighters solve it. We put a ring that's a triangle.
I'm glad you even said that one too. It is one of the things that I want to work on, over myself over the next 10 years. I want to go about to see whatever it takes to become, referee, judge here in PA. Just because I'm so sick. It just you see these cards and we're all watch these fights and we're clearly see it going one way, and then when you hear a split decision coming, it's all right. Who put Magoo cage side? Who put Magoo cage side? I mean, I don't I've had conversations with athletic commission members. How do we get some of these people out? Well, and then you find out it's just a good old boys club, and just if you know somebody who knows somebody, you wind up in. What is that?
Faces over and over. I mean, one of the things that I see at our events is the ripped out scorecards. When the he's sitting there and he's doing whatever, and it's a knockout, so he just rips it up and leaves it on the floor. I love seeing those little bits of paper on the floor by the judges' stools, you know, because that's what we want from the judges. Absolutely nothing. I mean, most of them are great people, but we don't want their input. We want the fighters to decide.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and say anyone's a bad person, but like we know how combat sports fan gets, and we know how the excitement gets in it, and when you give a bad decision, yeah, you're gonna start. Like, who was it? I want to name. No, but yes, though they are good people, but at the end of the day, you're costing people's lives and things like that. If you're really not in tune to what's going on, if you're really just there for a paycheck, find another one. Find another one because
I mean, they don't get paid a lot either. So
no, they don't. They don't.
For me, look, we believe in the fighters, right? The fighters train. They spend their time, their energy, their blood, sweat, and tears, and their money, because they got to pay their coaches. They got to pay their corners. They got to, pay their way and their vitamins, their supplements, all the stuff that they got to spend money just to get to the fight day, right? And then on some of these guys, they have win bonuses, or they'll have bonus or that bonus, or a pay on a ladder. Hey, if you win this fight, your next fight will be this much, and you win that, your next fight's going to be this much. To have a judge or a referee, for that matter, with an early stoppage or that or that, come in and affect the results of the fight, So like in football, they have instant replay. They can try to get something.
Can't do that in MMA.
But you don't have that here, so they got to get it right. And I would always err on the side of the fighter, right? If I was the referee, you don't want to see anybody hurt. But hey, let me see. Is this guy actually stepping forward? If he has, okay, let me give him one more chance before the early stoppage. Now, if you see that the guy's coming at me, no, then you be ready to jump in. But let's give this guy a chance to maybe shake it off, or so that was one of the things that, like, if you saw our fifth show, the BYB 5, JD Burns, against Carl Jefferson, that fight was a classic, and a lot of other referees might have stopped that fight in that first round when it looked like a knockout. It wasn't. His knee buckled, so a lot of people thought it was a knockout or this or that, and he gave him a chance to say he walked him up, walked him back. All right, get back in there. And the kid ended up winning the fight in the third round. He got knocked down 3 times during the fight, but he came back in the third round and won the fight. So, we might have not seen that.
I love that spirit.
And Matt Delanoy fight, that was one that, imagine if we would have gotten to see that second round, right? I mean, just the way the first round ended and the second one started, imagine what the rest of that second round would have looked like, right? Now, in hindsight, he stopped the fight. Renee, miscommunicated with him. There was a little miscommunication. Punching the referee in the ear maybe didn't help, 30 seconds earlier. But I don't think that had any. Phil's a top notch. He's world class. He's not gonna let that affect him. But Renee did take his mouthpiece off to argue with the guy, and you don't do that. If he's asking you want to fight, just say yes, move forward, and get it done. So in hindsight, it was probably better that it ended the way it did, because Matt did end up with some fractures that were then taken care of, instead of maybe making it worse with that round continuing on. But that just shows you what a tough son of a bitch he is.
But that's also like some of the things too. Like we're like, sometimes, like, as much as we want to give the fighters that option, sometimes we have to protect them from themselves too.
Absolutely. So it's all about getting the results down to the hands of the fighters. Will a judge or a referee have to step in to, like you said, protect somebody from themselves? Yeah. I mean, you saw Leo Pla, or I don't know if you saw the fight against Sam Liera, 3 rounds. It was a war, but Leo bleeds a lot, right? And on top of that, he's got his hair going all over the place. So then his hair's full of blood and his hair stuck to his face, and it looked like a mess. But, the referee stops the fight, and he's like, I got another eye. I don't need this one, A guy like Leo, he will fighting, if his eyes on the mat, So, guys like that, you definitely got to protect from themselves. But it's all for us. Literally, it's all about getting it right and letting the fighters decide the winner.
Yeah, man. And, and changing gears here real fast, I got to ask you, man, with everything going on in the world and everything like that, how special is it your event's going to be on September 11th?
It's my daughter's in the military. I have a family. My uncle was
God bless you, brother. God bless you.
I I was talked out of joining the military by my father, who wanted me to stick around and run the family business. And I thought about my grandparents who were up in age and whatnot. I said, yeah, if I'm gone now for 6 years, I'm going to miss a lot of this. And I decided not to. But I very much love, support my country and thank all for the sacrifices. As a military dad, my only sacrifice is not being with my daughter, as often as I'd like to, or on holidays or stuff like that, which is hard enough on me. I can't imagine those families that have lost loved ones or had them come back in bits of what they used to be. So for us to be able to have an event where we're actually honoring them. We've given out about 500 tickets to an organization called vettix.org. And if there's any veterans listening, whether it's our event or any other event, go online, vettix.org, register. They give out tickets to all kinds of events all around the country where the promoters donate them, and you'll be able to claw those tickets out for free. Take your friends or your family to an event and enjoy yourselves and get some good R&R. But that for us, it's really special. It's sad with all the current events going on right now. It's kind of taken a little bit of a tarnish to the moment,
to the big picture. Yeah.
We'd like to be talking about all the good work that's been done over the last 20 years and all the sacrifices instead of all the shit show that we got going on now. But we're not going to let that slow it down. And those that'll be there, we're definitely going to commemorate the moment with them and for them. And what a night to bang, right?
Yeah, man. And just like I said, it's just one of those things. It's the perfect storm, man. You guys are, we're getting to the point where we're probably about the most open we've probably been for a while. I know things are kind of being weird again, but we got too many people who have common sense now. I just don't think that's going to be an issue. But then we get all the other stuff going on. Then we get September 11th. Then you have your 7th event here. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, hopefully we can get a few of our guys down there. Maybe get them cage side covering an event. I got to ask you though. Like I'm always asking, when can we get you up here in Philly, man? We love some knuckle fighting over here.
Yeah, well, you think your boy up there would try to get bare
knuckle? Hey, listen. I think something happened when Dave created that, man. Listen. People don't know. I used to cover his MMA promotion before he was bought out by Rob. Before CFFC bought him, and he was like, I remember seeing him walk around. And I don't think he'll ever come back. I mean, he'll come back with the event, but it was one of the things. Like he's already had. Well, we're about to have the 21st event, and he hasn't been here yet. That's crazy, right?
Funny that they we talk about how BYB started, the backyard started here in South Florida, and it seems like every other event they have, it's right here in our backyard. So it is what it is. Hopefully one day we'll be over there and in their
like I said, you should take the one stone. You want to get in my backyard? Let me go throw one in your backyard.
Yeah. We compete in the neighbor's pool as well. That's no problem.
Hey, listen, man, it's all in fun, all in good promotion. I love what both of you guys are doing. Got mad respect for both of you gentlemen. Like I said, I would be remiss if I didn't throw it out there if I didn't ask you when you.
It's all fun. Listen, we actually tried to work together at the very beginning. Hey, let's work together and work on states, right? Let's work together.
Getting the states on board, yeah.
Rotate our events, right? Once we have several events, hey, you come to Florida, and then I'll go somewhere else, and we rotate it so we don't saturate the market, and we show everybody bare knuckle. It's two different products, right? One's the championship style. You want to be all the glory, and the mini UFC version of hey, we're not. We're just brawling. I mean, you're got a ray of time, and it's about brawling, and we'd welcome their fighters to fight over here and our champs to fight their champs, and that would be the
I think that would be the ideal thing. Like, as you guys grow over the next 5 years, is eventually get a thing where, like, remember we're like Pride in the UFC but we never got them on the same page where you could go and let's really see who's the best.
Listen, I've seen it from motorsports. If you're familiar with motorsports, it's kart and Indy. It's this and that. It's ARC and NASCAR. It's all over it. Card and Indy, eventually they merged, right? So that problem was solved. And that's not going to happen here, but, there's no animosity. There's the opportunity to work together. It would make sense, right? Two people working together to grow the sport. But in some, in some corners of the world, it's either there's only space for one.
Yeah, killed or be killed, right?
Right. Exactly. So it is what it is. We'll deal with it.
But see, I've never gotten that. Like, even like everyone's sitting there, just like, the UFC is the only place to be. Well, not really. It's the only place to be a superstar. You can make money and be the best in the world elsewhere.
It's entertainment. Some of the best period that I remember was when Bellator was on Spike for that period of time.
Yeah.
That was great, right? Get home on a Friday night, watch some Bellator.
And dude, like Spike TV, I don't know what happened. That was the home for where combat sports grew, from where MMA grew. Like, so it's one of these things. Like, people tend to forget who were older like me. Like, technically, that channel was old school USA. That's where boxing was, where that channel presides at, anyways, on the dial when you look at cable.
And it's the coveted demographic, right? It's that age group that's spending the money, that's out there, that's So I mean, you'd think that, but then different platforms, different people, you get oohed on to the OTT platforms or to pay-per-view or to this or that, and it starts getting muddied. I really like the TV aspect, the network aspect, the ability to put something out there for your sponsors where they see a certain platform that's out there. Makes a lot more business sense for us in the long term. Like I said, you can always do a pay-per-view special. Yeah. Bring in our cage, which is even smaller than our ring, and have a grudge match event where call each other out or whatever. So I mean, there's opportunity to do stuff like that, but really for us to be on a network where what day and time to come and see us, whether it's live events or whether we chop up our events or whether it's studio, or that's all stuff that we're in conversations with a few different people. And who knows? I think 2022 is going to be a bright year for us. I really do. I think this year's been a lot of growth for us from where we were, how we closed last year to where we are now with guys like Mike and Paulie and Al and Claudia. And I don't know if Nelson Swegler. He's quite a character. He's an old school guy. I tell him he's older than dirt, but he's our executive producer. He was the executive producer for all the original WrestleMania shows.
There you
go. So he's got a world of experience. He's got a story about everybody. Gorilla Monsoon. As a matter of fact, I should mention Diamond Dallas Page.
That's my dude. That was my dude. Like, listen, when they had the WCW, like he was my dude. I was like, listen, no, he was the guy that probably should have gotten a little bit more love, both from the company and the fans. But he was the underdog everyone loved, if you ask me.
Well, you're gonna love this. He's actually sponsoring our fight.
There you go.
It's his yoga program. If you're not familiar with it, check
DDP.
it out.
Yep.
Yoga. I mean, the guy's in shape. He just did a piece. One of our fighters was going up there. We're offering the program to our fighters as well for their stretching, their flexibility, and whatnot. And his program, the DDPY program, he has an app on the App Store and whatnot. It's one of our official sponsors for the show. And we'll be running some spots there for him. He can't make it on 9/11. He had a previous engagement, but he'll be coming to our next show and doing a lot more stuff with us. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome. Get those partnerships working out. And one last one before I wrap it up and let you go. Obviously we're talking about TV and all these things. Will we ever see a version of a BYB Extreme in some type of reality format or type of Ultimate Fighter format? Just something to kind of bring more eyes and along that nature.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the plans that we're working with. Again, we had some interesting parties that want to help take us to another level. Where there'll be a lot more events, a lot more peripheral programming like that, and that's part of what we're looking at doing, most definitely. And sometimes I don't know if you know my main business is I'm in distribution of C-store products and whatnot, tobacco, cigarettes mostly. But here at our warehouse in Miami, A couple of the guys that fight on the card actually have stumbled into jobs here with us over the last year. So Renee White Boy actually has been working with us. Started in the warehouse, was doing routes. Now he's also a sales rep for us. So he's out in the field in the sales. Jose Fernandez just recently started with us a couple months ago. Same thing. Met him through the boxing. Good guy, hard worker. You know, between opportunities, I happen to have an opportunity here. At the time we brought him in, and he's excelled at what he's doing as well. And Isaiah Quinones is another one that's he works. You know, his life is he's a stripper, he's a bouncer, but he works part-time, a few hours, a few days a week here with us as well. And it's kind of tricky to have three fighters, you know, working in the same warehouse. Fortunately, they're a little bit different divisions, so we try to keep that out.
Yes, so you don't have a fight breaking out of the warehouse.
Match. I hope we never have to match them up in the ring, because it's going to make for an awkward work week.
Work months.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. As I get ready to wrap this up, what I typically do is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, anyone you want to shoot at your socials, let the people know where to keep up the comings and going, both of you, and what's going on with BYB Extreme, charities you're working with, any sponsors you want to shoot out, anything like that. Mike, the time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where you're going to get updates to our events. Releases. We re-release some of the individual fights, interviews, feature pieces on the fighters. So if you can subscribe, it's BYB Extreme. All our social media is at BYB Extreme, and our website as well. As far as charities, we're actually participating. I don't know if you can see this, but it's called the Magic Waste Youth Foundation here in South Florida, where they support foster children. We're going to be doing that event in October down here. If you care to support, you know, Boys Club, Girls Club, or their foundation, it's always great. Invest in the youth, because, I mean, that's the future. And right now, from what I see from some of these kids, the future don't look too bright. So we need all the help we can get. Other than that, thanking Diamond Dallas Page for his support. Invite you to go check out what he's doing. I think it's really good. I signed up for the program myself. And, you know, stretching, there's nothing like stretching and building muscle and weight training as you get older. I'm 50, I'll be 51 this year. But you got to keep working out. The more you work out, the better you feel. So that's it. Other than that, I appreciate people for giving us an opportunity. Check us out. Check the action in the ring. That's what it's all about. We're about the fighters and the fans. So if you enjoy what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and enjoy the show. September 11th, 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. If you can't see it that day, see it the next day. But I guarantee you, you're going to like what you see.
Oh, for sure. For sure, my friend, that they're gonna like it. And guys, if you haven't had a chance to tune into any type of bare knuckle, head over to YouTube, check out what BYB Extreme already has up there. Like I said, you know, the next event's gonna be the 11th. Really appreciate the time, Mike. You know, when and if I can get down there to catch one, I'll definitely be hitting you up and seeing what we can work out. Other than that, appreciate the time. I'm gonna wrap this one up, and you know, for everyone, this was another episode of the Athlete Spotlight, #Executive Spotlight. You know, as we were joined by Mike today. Make sure you guys are keeping tuned in, like, subscribe for all the programming here on A2D. I'm Steve. This was another episode of